What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some of the first Destiny 2 news updates of 2021. And of course this week we do have new quests. Bungie give us a couple of updates on buggy missions, exotic rewards, and some of the content rolling out this new year. We'll talk about what's going on there, but we also get some teasers about Vault of Glass rewards, weapon updates, and returning D1 perks, as well as discussion about brand new destinations for the next major expansions, plus a few other relevant shouts in this video. So guys, as always, if you do enjoy this one, a rating below super helps us out, but now let's get into it. And so of course, initially, just yesterday, we got access to the kind of final Wrathborn hunt for Season 12, and that comes in the form of the Coup de Grace mission, but inside of the mission there are a few different Ascendant portals we need to head through, and the taken orbs that actually spawn these can be a bit buggy, so Bungie said players who are experiencing issues in the mission are advised to slow down when damaging the High Celebrant, but should also wait a few seconds before shooting the Black Blight orb. So basically, don't nuke the boss, but also, when the boss is in the last kind of position in each room before the Ascendant portal spawns, we found that we'd most consistently get through the mission without a problem if we didn't shoot the boss on that final spawn and then would wait a couple of seconds to shoot the Blight. But yes, you may have to run through it a few times before you actually are able to get the clear. But Bungie Help are also investigating a problem where some rewards are not dropping from the completion of the High Celebrant mission, and according to the reward screen before we load in, that should include the 4th Mark exotic ship. And so it looks like it's either supposed to have a much higher drop rate or is actually a guaranteed reward, but is currently bugged, so there are very few people have actually got the exotic dropped. However, if you have any runs left on characters this week, because essentially it looks like we can do one run per character per week. You never know, if you hold off until later in the week, Bungie could potentially fix it without a patch or something, but I'd say it's probably more likely to take a little time now before we'll get the reward. DMG also confirmed that if you can't access that mission via the lure, then make sure you don't have it kitted out for another hunt, so basically you have to reset the entire thing. And yes, safe to say, a few frustrating bugs with this launch of content in the new year. Players also noted how amusing it was that, spoiler alert, but at the end of the Celebrant mission, we go back and speak to the Spider in a cinematic, where we demand that the Crow is freed, and Spider eventually tells us to get the hell out of his lair, but then, the next step of the quest actually tells us to go and speak to him again. But on top of that, the Crow, who was just set free, is actually still in his cupboard back here in the Tangled Shore. So I think it brought a chuckle to a few players, but otherwise I thought the story element actually was kind of neat, but that's just me, and be sure to let us know what you guys think down below. Otherwise, later on, we do know that we're going to get another secret of the Crows, believed to be hidden away in the reservoir in the European Dead Zone. So there are a couple of things still to come, and DMG did say, re-Warden Seal, there are still a couple of triumphs left to discover, available at a later date, so stay tuned. And now to talk about different components of Destiny 2, and the subject of conversation, of course, over the past couple of weeks, but DMG did mention Shatterdive, and he said this ability has been a big topic in the last few days. The team is looking into it, and there'll be more info in the coming weeks on how this will be tuned. So definitely, it appears that there are going to be some adjustments right there, and I'd be curious to get any thoughts from you guys about what that could potentially look like. And then on the subject of updates and official news from Bungie, DMG highlighted that recently there have been some very speculative pieces of news that have started to gain some traction, and on the subject of official updates, he'd also said that they're targeting the 14th of January as the return of This Week at Bungie. And then he added that it wouldn't necessarily be a huge trap, but could be more kind of housekeeping things as we go into the new year. However, I guess we'll simply have to wait and see. Now though, let's talk about some other stuff, and Joe Blackburn jumped in to speak about the Coldfront SMG, but also some content that's going to come alongside the Vault of Glass. So he said he wanted to give a quick update on Coldfront, and the Dragonfly perk was not designed to work with kinetic weapons and causes some technical errors. Of course, it has been able to roll on the Coldfront, but because of this, in an upcoming patch, all Coldfronts with the Dragonfly perk will have it replaced with Swashbuckler. So that perk is going to be swapped out. And then he added, sorry for the late breaking timing on this, we try to keep our winter holiday timed sacred. But for those of you hungry for a fly perk on a legendary kinetic, you might be interested in checking out the Vault of Glass when it comes to D2 later this year. And of course, most especially, that's going to be a tease for the Fatebringer, but also the Firefly perk, which is the kinetic version of Dragonfly that we had in D1, of course. So another little tease for the Vault of Glass and some of the rewards there, and I guess a confirmation, not that it's especially groundbreaking, but it does appear that Firefly is being added back properly, just in time for the Fatebringer. Something else that's interesting, over the past couple of weeks, a lot of people have been discussing where we could go in some of the future expansions. There had been some supposed leaks about a return to the Dreadnought and some other things like that, but Luke Smith did speak to PC Gamer at the tail end of last year, and this is something that I didn't pick up on. There's a tweet from Paul Tassi that highlighted this for me as well, but Luke Smith had said that each expansion is going to include a brand new destination. and specifically that the Witch Queen is not going to unvault one. So that's a good piece of news for that major content drop that'll be coming up at the end of this year now. Just like Europa, the destination is going to be brand new, and they won't be bringing back something like what we saw with Shadowkeep. And theoretically in itself, that is a positive, right? Expansions should totally have those significant new spaces. But if it means we can get more content in a season, like when they reprise Vault of Glass, by unvaulting certain bits of content, then that's probably the way that most players would prefer to see it, right? Nonetheless, another interesting point of conversation, so give us your thoughts down below. And really that's it in terms of new conversation at the moment, but as always, I'll keep you posted when we get even more new stuff, whenever TWAB ends up dropping and things like that. However, the very final thing we're going to leave right here is the gameplay for how to get the penguin statue for this week. Of course, the final triumph for collecting penguins on Europa. This one's actually located in Eternity, so quite a long run to get there. You need to pick up an orb from the Drake Charge Courier, who's an enemy you'll find just before the final section, and then that orb needs to be deposited on one of the walkways to get access to the penguin. So if you want the location of how to get that this week, I'll run it out from here, guys. But if you have enjoyed the video, a rating down below very much helps us out. And once again, be sure to get subscribed and stay posted here on the channel so I can keep you up to date with the world of Destiny. And whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.